You shoot me down in flames, you put me down alive. I'm having a UB40 moment. Sorry man, I've been getting in contact with some of my 80s albums. Bass player, and how can I help myself? Anyway, I've got some new ideas I'm playing around with. Hammer time again. Kind of getting into this. And I really want to get this. Yeah, I'm on fire! I really want to get this as small as possible. So what I'm thinking of is we may need to get a spare grip frame from this. Demon, boys, if you're watching, can you do me a little favour? Can you get in touch with a supplier? I would very much like a spare trigger frame. Experimental options, a spare trigger frame, and if possible a couple of those muzzle brakes, and I'll do a couple of those silent sections for you. But what I would really like to do with this, this is a 12 gram changer. I want to put this 12 gram changer inside the grip. It will project out the bottom, but then you need to, because you need to get hold of it to turn it to change the 12 gram, see? But I want to keep whatever gas system I'm going to put on it, really want it up inside the trigger frame, keep everything tidy. So I'm actually thinking of a 12 gram inside the trigger frame, and then I want to lose the pump entirely. And then what we'll do is we'll either have a side lever on it, like the M26 dart attachment on battlefields. I'm sure everybody knows that because it's a really controversial weapon. And I want to do a really short barrel, so the whole thing will end up, sort of stopping where my hand is. There won't be any pump. The front end will be fully silenced. There's something else that I've got, which is rather interesting. This is a ball magazine off of a paintball pistol. I can't remember which one, BT-17 or whatever. Anyway, something like that. And this actually just sits on top, would sit over the top of the feed port. That would give you 10 rounds in that tube, and then 10 rounds of first strike in there. That's 20 rounds in total. I'm starting to really like this. Don't tell anybody, yeah. Keep that to yourself. Bloody pistols. Yeah. I love the action, baby. I can't do a Hitman cocker because the magazine's in the way. Could do like a Winchester type lever underneath, but I don't really think there's any point to it really. So I'm going to play around. Also, what would be really cool, if there is on the marketplace and anybody sees one, is a 12 gram changer. Now this is a RAP 4 changer, which was sold to me as being a QD high speed changer, but in fact it's anything but, because you have to thread the entire cartridge in and then unthread it, and there's 20 to 30 turns there. Yeah, it's not what we call QD. What I need is an old style changer that had a thread on the bottom and a plug that you just screwed in and out. That would be better for what I'm up to here. But finding 12 gram changers nowadays is not like it was in the past, where it was everywhere. I can use this one, but the other type with the screw in the bottom would be better. That I could sink right into the trigger frame and actually build it into the trigger frame. This is the main problem I've got with the trigger frame on this being poly. Anything I take out of it substance wise will make the trigger frame flex, so we want to keep that down to an absolute minimum, which is why I want one that unscrews from the bottom instead of the whole thing. I can use this one, but it won't be as good, and if it's not as good, it's not for me. It won't work, and I won't be happy with it, and I'm rather fussy about what I do. So, with that in mind, I'm going to leave you there. I love you. Alright, yeah. Don't break my heart. Don't break my gun. Don't break my gun. I've got to see you later. Bye. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, this is the power tube from the said Hammer 7. This is the bit that actually gets knocked open past the gas. It's a long metal tube. It's hollow, so the gas can pass through it. And it's got a hole at one end. We're going to dress that hole up. You can't go too mad with these because of the knocking open effect. If you open these up too much, the end will snap off. It was a major problem back in the day. It's still going to be a major problem now if you take this out too far. So we're going to mess around with this, although this does look to be quite a high quality bit of bright steel, so I think this might be okay. Anyway, we're going to mess around with it now and see what the outcome is. So see you soon. They're all getting a bit rocky downstairs. Anyway, laddie kids. Simple setup. I've put a 12 gram on the back, alright. It's a pity, take note, that nobody makes the micro CA anymore. It's just a long fin stock. It had a 12 gram changer built into it. It kicked down, it was a T-stock, it was nice and light. What's more, the copyright and the patent has run out. It was made over 25 years ago. Hint, hint, manufacturers, please listen. Retail price of about 40 quid. Yeah, bear that in mind. I could make them, but I don't do mass production. Yeah, I'll make 2 or 3, but I wouldn't be making 40 quid. Anyway, yeah, what do you think? Yeah, nice and quiet. Now, what I do have, funny enough, let's get rid of this. Now, obviously, that is a 12 gram. Now, there's a company called Gammo, and they do 88 gram CO2 bottles. And I happen to have an adapter. Now, you can buy an adapter for their 88 gram bottles. If you put it in the back of your marker, in the back of your pump, like so, and then you can screw the 88 gram in there. But the only problem is, it is still CO2. Now, Luxford do bottles, compressed air, exactly the same as the CO2 ones you get on your rental site. They're good to 3,000 PSI. They're about the same price as the CO2 ones. Some of the Luxford CO2 ones can be filled with compressed air up to 3,000 PSI. Please read the bottle. It will say CO2 only or CO2 air mix. Do not use, if it's been filled with CO2, you would need to fill it with carbon. So it would be monoxide from a car exhaust. There's a reaction between the oxygen and the CO2. I'm not going to go into the science of it now. It's not what you want to hear. Most people are not bothered about that. God, I'm being so derogatory. Oh, parlance. Anyway, this for now. I'm going downstairs for a bit of a punk moment. Yeah, alright, fair enough. I'll catch you later, alright, bye bye. Wouldn't it be nice to get on with your neighbours? Strong faces! They got no room for ravers. Let's just switch this on. I built this vibe for someone, been waiting for some parts to come back from the anodizers. Just going to run it up, you want to see a bit of it shooting. I still remember how to switch the air from. Sorry. Then drift away. I've got it set up quite slow at the moment. Believe it or not, yeah, that's slow. So, we've got a mild kick up on here, which is rail mounted. The ASA is rail mounted. You can slide that backwards and forwards to adjust the length of pull if you're uncomfortable about it. Pick yourself up some more macro line tube. Always have macro line in your toolkit. You can get like 3 feet for £1, so there's no excuse not to have it. Apart from that, that's ready to rock and roll. Never leave the battery in. Please download the owner's handbook for the Vibe manual, and that's the new tulip-ended barrel you've got there. That's also the deadball barrel. Nice. Monday afternoon. I fucking love this song. What's for again? Clicking, you yippee-ki-yay, mother flipper. I'll see you later, buds.
Bye.